Ladies and gentlemen, imagine a woman standing in the quiet corners of life. Her face is serene, her demeanor composed, and yet within her resides a storm that no one can see. She walks through the world as if she is unshaken, yet she carries within her heart wounds that words have never touched. This is the silent strength of a woman who bears her pain without complaint, without declaration, and without seeking sympathy. Such a woman often goes unnoticed, not because she is insignificant, but because her strength is so profound it blends seamlessly with her existence. She rises early, tends to her responsibilities, and pours herself out for others while carrying the weight of her own struggles. The world calls her resilient, but resilience is not the absence of pain. It is the mastery of it. She has learned to transform her pain into perseverance and her scars into lessons. This silence is not weakness. It is not cowardice or fear. It is a choice. A choice to shield the world from the chaos she endures within. It is not that she has no one to turn to. It is that she values the peace of others over her own comfort. Her silence is an act of love. Her restraint, an act of strength. But let us not be deceived. Pain that is carried in silence still weighs heavily. It shapes her decisions, colors her perceptions, and sometimes dims her light. Yet even in the dimness, she finds ways to shine. She is the one who encourages others while her own heart aches, who offers a listening ear while longing to be heard, and who holds others up even when her own knees threaten to buckle. This woman teaches us that true strength is not found in what we shout, but in what we endure. Her life is a testament that the power of the human spirit is not in its invincibility, but in its ability to keep moving forward despite the burdens it carries. And though she may not cry out, her silence speaks volumes. It is a language of survival, of resilience, of courage. We owe such women more than admiration. We owe them recognition. Because behind every silent struggle is a soul that refuses to give up, a heart that chooses love over bitterness, and a spirit that rises every time it is knocked down. Her silence is not her defeat. It is her declaration that no matter the pain she will endure, she will overcome, and she will rise. A woman who carries her pain in silence is a force often misunderstood, her strength mistaken for ease, her composure for indifference. Yet the truth of her existence is a profound paradox. She feels deeply, endures greatly, and chooses deliberately to bear her burdens in solitude. This choice, though unseen and rarely celebrated, is an act of extraordinary willpower. Her silence is a sanctuary she has built, brick by brick, through years of facing trials that others could never imagine. It is a fortress where she hides the rawness of her emotions, not because she is ashamed, but because she knows the world is not always kind to vulnerability. Her silence is not a mask, but a shield, a way to protect the beauty of her inner world from the harshness of external judgment. And though she carries her pain alone, she is not without understanding. Her silence allows her to observe, to reflect, and to grow. The world often expects women to be caretakers, nurturers, the glue that holds everything together. Yet it rarely stops to ask what holds her together when she is breaking inside. This woman doesn't wait for someone to ask. She finds strength in the stillness of her own spirit. She draws power from the lessons her pain has taught her, and she learns to lean on a force greater than herself. She may cry in the quiet of the night, her tears unseen, but with the dawn she rises again, stronger and more determined than before. Her silence is not a void. It is filled with prayers whispered into the heavens, hopes she dares to nurture, and dreams she refuses to let die. Even as her heart aches, she believes in tomorrow. This belief is not born from naivety, but from the profound understanding that every storm passes, every wound heals, and every dark night gives way to morning. Her silence, then, is a space of waiting, of trusting, and of quiet resolve. The woman who carries her pain in silence understands the power of choice. She knows that while she cannot control what happens to her, she can control how she responds. And so she chooses grace over bitterness, forgiveness over vengeance, and love over despair. These choices are not easy, but they are necessary. They shape her character, strengthen her spirit, and prepare her for the life she is meant to live. Her pain, though heavy, is not wasted. It is a refining fire, burning away the impurities of fear, doubt, and insecurity. It shapes her into someone who is not just strong, but unbreakable. This woman understands that pain, when embraced and not resisted, can be a teacher. It teaches her compassion for others, wisdom in her decisions, and humility in her success. Her silent endurance becomes a testimony to the human spirit's capacity to rise above suffering. This woman also knows the importance of boundaries. Her silence is not an invitation for the world to exploit her strength or ignore her needs. It is her way of preserving her energy and protecting her peace. She gives generously but not recklessly. She loves deeply but not at the expense of her own soul. Her silence is a reminder to herself and others that she is not a martyr but a survivor. And in her survival, she finds purpose. Even as she carries her pain, this woman has an extraordinary ability to see beauty in the world. She notices the small miracles, the warmth of the sun on her face, the sound of laughter, the kindness of a stranger. These moments remind her that life, even with its challenges, is worth living. Her silence allows her to appreciate these gifts fully, without distraction or delusion. She carries her pain with dignity, but this does not mean she is immune to moments of doubt or despair. There are times when the weight feels unbearable, when the silence becomes deafening, and when she wonders if anyone truly sees her. But even in these moments, she refuses to give up. She reaches deep within herself to find the strength to keep going. She reminds herself of the battle she has already won, the mountain she has already climbed, and the pain she has already survived. And with this reminder, she presses on. Her silence is also a way of creating space for healing. She knows that pain is not something to be avoided, but something to be understood. She listens to her pain, learns from it, and allows it to guide her toward growth. She understands that healing is not a linear process, and that it often requires patience, self-compassion, and courage. Her silence becomes a sacred space where this healing can take place. This woman may never receive the recognition she deserves. She may never hear the applause of the world or see her name in lights. But she doesn't seek validation from external sources. She knows that her worth is not defined by what others think of her, but by who she is at her core. Her silence is a testament to her inner strength, her unwavering faith, and her unyielding spirit. She is a builder constructing a life of meaning and purpose even as she carries her pain. She builds relationships based on trust and respect. She builds dreams that reflect her deepest desires. And most importantly, she builds herself brick by brick, moment by moment, into the person she was always meant to be. The woman who carries her pain in silence does so not because she has no voice, but because she understands the power of stillness. In her silence, she finds clarity, strength, and resilience. Her silence is not an absence, but a presence, an unspoken declaration that she is here, she is enduring, and she is thriving. Her life is a quiet symphony of courage, determination, and grace. It is a story of triumph over adversity, of strength in the face of struggle, and of love in the midst of pain. And though her story may never be told in words, it is written in the way she lives, in the way she loves, and in the way she refuses to give up. Her silence is her power, her strength, and her gift to the world. For in her quiet endurance, she shows us all what it means to truly live to face pain without fear, to carry burdens without complaint, and to rise again and again with grace and dignity. And though the world may not always see her, she is there, changing it with every silent act of courage, every quiet moment of strength, and every unspoken word of hope. The woman who carries her pain in silence embodies a profound resilience that often goes unnoticed. She is the one who, while holding her own broken pieces together, extends her hands to steady others. Her silence is not a void, it is an arena where her battles unfold unseen and uncelebrated. It is within this quiet space that she confronts her fears, wrestles with her doubts, and nurtures her faith. This silence is not emptiness, it is a reservoir of strength, filled with the echoes of her triumphs over adversity. Her strength is not just in her ability to endure, but in her decision to choose love, grace, and forgiveness despite the pain. She understands that life is not always fair, that people can wound deeply, and that circumstances can break the strongest hearts. Yet she chooses not to let bitterness take root. Her silence is not a sign of surrender, but a deliberate act of defiance. It is her way of saying, I will not be defined by what I have suffered, but by how I rise. She finds solace in the small moments that others might overlook. A quiet morning, a kind word, a fleeting smile, these are the treasures she holds on to when the weight of her pain feels unbearable. These moments remind her that life is not only about the struggles, but also about the beauty that persists despite them. Her silence allows her to appreciate these gifts deeply, to savor the sweetness of a single joyful moment amid a sea of challenges. Her pain becomes a lens through which she sees the world more clearly. She recognizes the struggles of others, empathizes with their wounds, and offers them the kind of understanding that only someone who has walked through the fire can provide. She does not need to speak of her pain to connect with others. Her actions speak louder than words. A listening ear, a helping hand, a quiet presence, these are her gifts to a world that often overlooks the quiet struggles of its people. This woman is no stranger to loneliness. Silence often creates a barrier between her and the world, not because she desires isolation, but because her journey is one that others may not fully understand. Yet, she finds companionship in her own spirit. She learns to be her own comforter, her own cheerleader, and her own guide. This self-reliance does not make her immune to the need for others. It simply means that she has learned to thrive even when she must walk alone. In her silence, she finds the freedom to reflect, to grow, and to heal. She does not rush her healing process or demand immediate answers to her questions. Instead, she allows time to do its work, trusting that every scar has a purpose and every tear has a lesson. Her silence is her way of respecting the process, of giving herself the space she needs to rebuild what has been broken. Her journey is not without moments of doubt and weariness. There are times when the silence feels suffocating, when the weight of her pain threatens to overwhelm her. In these moments, she reaches inward and upward, seeking strength from a source greater than herself. Her faith is not always loud or visible, but it is steadfast. It is the anchor that keeps her grounded when the storms of life rage around her. She understands that pain is not just something to endure, but something to transform. She does not let her pain become her prison. Instead, she uses it as a stepping stone to greater heights. Her silence is the forge where her character is shaped, her resolve is tested, and her spirit is refined. Each challenge she faces, each burden she carries, makes her stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. She does not allow her pain to define her, but she does allow it to teach her. It teaches her what truly matters in life: love, kindness, perseverance, and faith. It teaches her to cherish the good moments and to find meaning in the hard ones. It teaches her that she is stronger than she ever imagined, and that her story is not over, even when the road ahead seems uncertain. Her silence is not a wall, but a bridge, a way to connect with her innermost self and with the divine. It is in this silence that she finds the courage to dream, to hope, and to believe in the possibility of a brighter future. Her dreams are not diminished by her pain, they are fueled by it. She dreams of a life where her struggles have meaning, where her scars become symbols of victory, and where her story inspires others to find their own strength. Her silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of something far more powerful: the determination to endure, the wisdom to grow, and the courage to love. She carries her pain with grace, her strength with humility, and her dreams with quiet confidence. And in doing so, she shows us all what it means to truly live. The woman who carries her pain in silence is not invisible, though the world might think so. Her presence is felt in the lives she touches, the spaces she occupies, and the quiet, profound way she transforms everything around her. Her silence is not emptiness, it is fullness. It contains the weight of her struggles, the depth of her reflections, and the power of her perseverance. It is in this silence that she crafts a strength so unique and enduring that it defies the limitations of human understanding. She rises each day with a determination that goes unnoticed by most. Her strength is not loud or ostentatious, it is quiet, steady, and unwavering. She carries burdens that would break others, yet she does not falter. Her silence is not resignation, but a powerful form of endurance. It is her way of saying to herself and to the world, I will not be undone by this. I will carry this pain, but it will not carry me. She is not unfamiliar with moments of despair. In the stillness of her nights, when the world is asleep, her tears may fall and her heart may ache. She may whisper questions into the dark, questions that seem to have no answers. Yet even in these moments, she refuses to let hopelessness consume her. Her silence becomes her sanctuary, a space where she can process her pain without fear of judgment or misunderstanding. This woman knows the value of patience. She understands that healing cannot be rushed and that strength is built over time. Her silence is not stagnation, but a space for growth. Within it, she reflects on her experiences, learns from her struggles, and prepares herself for what lies ahead. She knows that the journey is long, but she trusts in her ability to endure. Her silence is her commitment to herself, her refusal to give up, and her belief in a brighter future. Even as she carries her pain, she does not let it consume her. She finds joy in small things: a smile, a kind word, a moment of peace. These moments are her lifelines, her reminders that life, despite its hardships, is still beautiful. Her silence allows her to fully appreciate these moments, to hold on to them, and to let them sustain her when the road becomes difficult. She is a source of strength for others, even when she feels weak herself. Her silence does not mean she is unavailable or indifferent. It means she understands the power of presence. She knows that sometimes the best way to support someone is not with words, but with quiet understanding. Her silence becomes a gift she offers to others, a space where they can feel seen and heard without judgment. The woman who carries her pain in silence is deeply compassionate. Her own struggles have given her a profound understanding of the pain of others. She does not judge or dismiss their experiences. Instead, she offers them the kind of empathy that can only come from someone who has walked a similar path. Her silence allows her to listen, to truly hear, and to connect with others on a level that words cannot reach. She is not afraid of her pain. She does not run from it or deny it. Instead, she confronts it, learns from it, and uses it to grow. Her silence is her way of acknowledging her pain without letting it consume her. She understands that pain is a part of life, but that it does not have to define her life. Her silence is her way of taking control, of refusing to let her pain dictate who she is or who she will become. Her strength is not only in her ability to endure, but in her capacity to hope. Even in the darkest moments, she holds on to the belief that better days are ahead. Her silence is not a sign of defeat, but a space where she nurtures her dreams and cultivates her faith. She knows that the journey is not over and that her story is still being written. This woman is a builder. She builds a life of meaning. Even as she carries her pain, she builds relationships based on trust, kindness, and mutual respect. She builds herself moment by moment into someone stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Her silence is not a pause, but a process, a way of creating something beautiful from the challenges she faces. Her silence is also her strength. It is the source of her resilience, her courage, and her unwavering spirit. It is in her silence that she finds the clarity to move forward, the wisdom to make difficult choices, and the strength to keep going. Her silence is not an absence, but a presence, a powerful, undeniable presence that shapes everything she does. She does not seek recognition or validation for her strength. She does not need the world to acknowledge her struggles or her triumphs. She knows her worth, and she knows that her silence does not diminish it. Her silence is her choice, her way of navigating life's challenges with grace and dignity. Even as she carries her pain, she refuses to let it rob her of her joy. She finds moments of happiness, even in the midst of hardship. She celebrates small victories, cherishes simple pleasures, and holds on to the things that bring her peace. Her silence allows her to fully embrace these moments, to let them sustain her, and to let them remind her that life, despite its difficulties, is still worth living. The woman who carries her pain in silence is not a victim, but a victor. She is not defined by what she has endured, but by how she has overcome it. Her silence is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to her incredible strength. It is her way of saying, I will not be broken. I will not be defeated. I will rise and rise, she does, again and again, with a grace and strength that inspire everyone who has the privilege of knowing her. The woman who carries her pain in silence is a living paradox of strength and vulnerability. She is the embodiment of grace under pressure, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. To those who pass her by, she may seem ordinary, even unremarkable, but within her beats a heart that has withstood storms most cannot fathom. Her silence is not an emptiness, but a fullness, a sacred space where she contains her struggles, processes her emotions, and finds the strength to rise anew. Her days are often filled with the demands of life, pulling her in many directions. Yet she meets each challenge with a quiet determination that is both inspiring and humbling. She rarely complains, not because she does not feel the weight of her burdens, but because she has learned to carry them with dignity. Her silence is her armor, shielding her from a world that may not always understand her depth or appreciate her struggles. This woman has made peace with the fact that life does not always offer answers. She understands that pain and joy often coexist, that the journey to healing is not linear, and that some questions may remain unanswered. Her silence becomes a space where she learns to sit with the unknown, to find comfort in her faith, and to trust that her path, though difficult, is leading her to a place of purpose. She is a giver, often pouring herself out for others, even when her own cup is nearly empty. She finds meaning in acts of service, in being a source of strength and support for those around her. Yet her giving is not reckless, it is deliberate, measured, and born of a deep well of compassion. Her silence allows her to give without expectation, to love without conditions, and to hope without guarantees. Her strength is not just in what she endures, but in how she endures it. She carries herself with a quiet confidence that comes from knowing she has survived what others might not. Her silence is not a retreat, but a testament to her inner resolve. It is her way of preserving her energy, protecting her peace, and reclaiming her power in a world that often seeks to diminish it. There are moments when the weight of her pain threatens to overwhelm her. In these moments, she retreats into her silence, not to escape, but to gather her strength. She allows us to feel, to grieve, and to release what no longer serves her. Her silence is not a denial of her pain, but a recognition of its presence. It is her way of honoring her journey without letting it consume her. Her silence also becomes a mirror, reflecting the truth of who she is. It shows her the strength she has gained, the lessons she has learned, and the growth she has achieved. In her silence, she discovers that she is not defined by her pain, but by her response to it. She is more than her struggles, more than her scars, more than her past. She is a survivor, a warrior, and a beacon of hope. This woman has a profound understanding of the power of perspective. She knows that pain, while difficult, can also be a teacher. It has taught her to appreciate the small joys of life, to cherish the moments of peace, and to find beauty even in the midst of chaos. Her silence is a space where she cultivates gratitude, where she shifts her focus from what she has lost to what she still has, and where she finds the courage to keep moving forward. She is a protector not just of herself, but of those she loves. Her silence is a way of shielding others from the full weight of her struggles, not because she does not trust them, but because she values their peace. She carries her pain quietly, not out of shame, but out of love. Her silence is her way of saying, I will bear this so that you do not have to. Her silence is also a sanctuary, a place where she reconnects with her true self. In a world that often demands so much from her, it is in her silence that she finds clarity, peace, and strength. It is here that she dreams, reflects, and prays. Her silence is a reminder that even in the busiest of lives, there is always room for stillness. She does not seek validation or approval from others. She knows her worth, and she knows that her silence does not diminish it. Her silence is her choice, her way of reclaiming her narrative, and her way of honoring her journey. It is a powerful declaration of self-respect, self-love, and self-awareness. This woman is a healer, though she may not realize it. Her presence brings comfort to those who are hurting. Her strength inspires those who are struggling. And her silence speaks volumes to those who are listening. She does not need to shout her story for it to be heard. Her life is a living testimony to the power of perseverance, faith, and love. Even as she carries her pain, she remains open to the possibilities of joy, love, and growth. Her silence is not a barrier, but a bridge, a way of connecting with herself, with others, and with the divine. It is a space where she finds hope, even in the darkest moments, and where she cultivates the strength to keep moving forward. This woman is not defined by what she has endured, but by how she has risen above it. Her silence is her strength, her sanctuary, and her song. It is the melody of a heart that refuses to be broken, a spirit that refuses to be defeated, and a soul that refuses to stop believing in the beauty of life. Her silence is not just the absence of sound, it is the presence of something far greater, a quiet, unshakable strength that inspires everyone who has the privilege of knowing her. Her journey is not just her own, it is a testament to what is possible when we choose faith over fear, love over bitterness, and hope over despair. She stands as a reminder that we are not defined by what we endure, but by how we rise. Her silence calls us to look deeper, not just at her story, but at our own, and to see that within every challenge lies the seed of transformation.